And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're going to take a look at, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the Russian name here, but this is called Founder of the Empire. It's from Rightgames, a Russian company, and they've done many games in the past, and some of their games, like Evolution, have been good. Other of their games have not been so fantastic, and the cover of this box looks almost, my friend Z Garcia said it looks like a bad iOS app on here. So we weren't sure what to expect. It was a game where you put tiles out and got resources. All right, well, we'll give it a whirl and let's see how good it is. Well, let me show you. At the beginning of a game, there are three sets of tiles. There's nature, village, and city tiles. They're placed here in three stacks. And then you have some victory point tiles. Now, you put 12 of them out in a 3 to 4 player game, 8 in a 2 player game, and there's actually several that you don't use. So these will be different every game. These are all available at the beginning, and there's 3, 2, 1. Each player is going to start with 2 of the nature tiles that they'll place adjacent to each other. Like this. Each of these nature tiles provides 2 different resources. So you can see this one provides water or stone. This one provides reeds or water. Now, on your turn, on a player's turn, the first thing they do is they pick one of these stacks and they take the top tile and add it to this row. If that top tile is the 6th item in a row, so let's say there's 5 blues here from the village, and I add a 6th one, then these 5 go away and they're out of the game completely, and now it's back down to 1. So the rows won't get too unwieldy. After that then, after players on that, they have a chance to play one of these little tokens if they have one, and I'll mention those tokens a little bit more in a bit, and then they must take one of these tiles in the middle. Now you can always take a nature tile. So let's say I take this tile and I place it in my thing. Now these other tiles though have requirements. So there's requirements before you take the village tiles or the city tiles. So when you come down here, the way that this works is, if I want to add a tile, let's say I want to add this tile here, which provides horses. This needs water and wood. So I can place it into my structure as long as I can get water or wood from anything adjacent, even diagonally adjacent. So I could place it here. This would provide the wood, and this would provide the water. That also provides the water. And so maybe if I wanted to add this one here that adds stone and flax, I could place that here because I'm getting the stone from there and I'm getting the flax from over here. And if I wanted to add this coin item here from the lowest one, the city, I couldn't because I have wood, but I have no gold. So I would have to wait until I had something like this, which is gold, and then I would be able to place that. Oh, I still wouldn't be able to place that, because while I can put it here next to the gold, there's no place to get wood. I would have to put down another nature tile that provided me with wood, and then I could place this city tile. And then there are the victory point tiles. You can place those too, but you can see they're harder. This one needs soldiers and gold. This one here needs horses and fish, and these will provide you with victory points at the end of the game. Now when you place out a city tile, like this one here, this shows a coin, so I'd get a coin token that I can use. And so the different tiles from the cities will provide you with different things. These things are all very useful. If you get a wagon token, you can place this wagon token so that you can place it between 4 tiles. Those 4 tiles are all considered one large tile now, so you're able to use the resources all around them. A coin token can be placed on an opponent's resource. You will use that resource when you put out one of your tiles. So let's say my opponent had a soldier. Or I had a soldier, and my opponent here has a coin. So I put this on top of the coin, and I can now place this one here, because I have the soldier and I just used his coin. My opponent can no longer use this coin, but at the end of their turn, they'll take this token off, and now they have the coin token. So it's like commerce going back and forth. A soldier token you can place on someone else's unprotected tile. An unprotected tile is basically tiles at the top of their display in each of the rows, and that basically shuts that tile down completely. And then finally, these little vase tiles, when you get one of these, you flip it over, and if you happen to have the resource that's shown on the tile. So, for example, this one here shows iron. If I had iron somewhere in my camp, which I don't at this point in time, I would be able to place, let's say this was iron, I'd be able to place it on that, and I would get rid of the iron, but it would give me 2 victory points. This will continue until all the tiles in the middle are gone or until all the victory point tiles are gone. When that happens, each player is going to total up their points on all the tiles they have, plus any of these tokens that they haven't used that are in their hand is also each worth 1 point. The player with the most points is the winner. Folks, I was pleasantly surprised by this game. This game had a little bit of a fresh feel. Sure, it's not doing any conceptually new things. You have these tiles that provide resources, but taking the tile and putting it in your town or your city or whatever you're calling it, it provides a good spatial element. That's fun to build this and see your thing build up. And I like how the resources come diagonally and next to you. So you're sitting there and you have to figure out, okay, I'll start with these basic resources and then you move up to the bigger resources, which then move up to the bigger. So there's like levels, which then lead to the point tiles. But after a while, those point tiles are surrounding and you need to go back to the basic tiles to get some more basic resources. So there's kind of the circular effect and you will eventually see the game finish. And because the point tiles are different each time, that keeps the game fresh and interesting from game to game. It's interesting, the little circular tiles that you take. I love the concept of the money tile. Basically, I'm stealing a resource from you, but I paid you for it. And so you have that paid resource and you can take it and you can then use it in the future. So there's kind of this currency, this commerce going around. So that's a neat concept. And also attaching the tiles together and making them one tile, being able to use resources, that's a really neat concept. Or taking a tile and making it worth victory points, but it's no longer going to produce resources. That's a cool concept. Now, where people might differ are with the soldier tiles. Now, I think the soldier tiles are cool because when you attack someone else, you're shutting down one of their tiles, hopefully a victory point tile, but you're doing it at the expense of a victory point to yourself because you would have a victory point. So you would only do it in rare circumstances. And also, when you're building your thing and you have these big victory point tiles, just don't put them at the top, because then they can be attacked. As long as there's another tile above them, you're fine. And sometimes it's worth it to take some cheapo tile and put it above one of your big victory point tiles just to keep this from happening. So it's not as devastating as you might think. The game itself takes maybe 30 to 45 minutes, and I think it really provides a decent amount of game in there for that. I like the little artwork, and I think the tiles look easy, and it's really easy to differentiate between the resources. Although I don't know that many people will see this cutesy artwork, and they might just pass on by it. But it's an excellent little game, a medium weight, fun resource management style game, and so that is Founders of the Empire. Good game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.